Hi, I'm Vernon Felton, Senior Editor at Bike Magazine. Welcome to Bike Magazine's 2015 Bible of Bike Test. Today we're reviewing Juliana's Roubion. It's essentially the women's-specific version of Santa Cruz's popular Bronson bike, which we reviewed last year. So, it's a full carbon bike, $6,600. If that price seems a little steep, well, that's kind of what you get with the full carbon bike. You can get this frame with the same shock for $2,900. The big question is, though, what did you guys think of it?
So sweet.
I liked it a lot. It was awesome.
Okay, what's sweet and awesome? Come on, let's break that down. What?
There's a lot that's really just great about this bike. They spec'd it really nicely.
So
I feel
X1,
like
XO,
really good
trim,
components. Yeah, I mean I feel like the components really fit the purpose of the bike. You know, it's got a pike fork on it. It's got a single ring drivetrain. I think
more of
the
a burly,
version,
the
version we tested was X1 with a race face crankset and chainring. Yeah, it's just fun. It's a bike you feel like you can ride anywhere, you know, and it's definitely. Yeah, it can handle a lot of different terrain.
It's kind of confidence inspiring because you can just smash through a lot of stuff. Like, you don't have to pick a good line or anything, and it just goes.
Which is awesome.
Really? Is that capable?
It's great, yeah.
I felt like it was almost made me more imaginative on the trail. Like, I was seeing features that I'd never even considered before, and like, oh, maybe I'll pump that, maybe I'll jump that. And it was like, just handle it all. Super stable, really efficient.
One of my first impressions of this bike, I've actually ridden it multiple times, and one of my first impressions was, you know, I was like, it felt like it was going to make me better because it could handle so much on the trail, you know, that I feel like it's a really good bike that for somebody to sort of grow into skill-wise.
It's also one of the things that I've heard too is like when you're buying full suspension, you're buying skill. So if this is even, say you are a beginner and you want to get into more aggressive riding, like this would be a great bike to step into.
You said you guys were really dug the fact that it had the SRAM 1x with a race face crankset on it. Obviously it had Shimano XT brakes on it. It's another high point. The pike fork. Was there anything that you thought was amiss? Anything that they didn't spec right or do right on the bike?
Man, it was really hard.
Yeah, the only thing I would change probably are the grips, and that's getting pretty nitpicky.
Yeah. I like the tires too. They're really grippy because it's a little loose.
The Maxxis,
yeah, the high rollers. Like I just felt like they worked really good out there today.
Yeah, good bite and some of the loose frame for sure. And I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say the one thing I would maybe say, and this is pretty loose criticism, is that it has a pretty long wheelbase, and in some of the really tighter stuff. Like we were doing a lot of like tight corners into like ledgy climbs today, and I felt less confident on this bike than on like more responsive bikes.
Obviously, again, this is one of those bikes that it's a woman-specific bike, but in this case, Santa Cruz hasn't done anything with the geometry. This is exactly the Bronson frame with a different color and basically
nice color.
Different a nice color. Okay, you liked it. Different cockpit parts, right? Did that work for you? Because a lot of the other bikes you rode had different geometry or lighter shock tunes. This does not get that treatment. So it's basically a guy's bike with a different color, different parts. Did that work for you?
Worked for me. I mean, I've ridden several of the Juliana bikes, and I think it's, you know, I don't know, everyone's different, and I feel like depending on your size and riding style, you might be way more comfortable in something that is women-specific. But I also think that something like a Juliana bike, you know, works well for a lot of women. And I think it's, you know, it's sort of a way for, I think the brand and how they're positioning it is definitely going to appeal to a lot of women.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an interesting approach to the whole issue of women-specific bikes. To just use the same bike.
And market it differently. Which is what.
Because honestly, like when you, as a woman, when I'm shopping for bikes or looking at bikes, I almost get insulted when I see some of the specs. Like, and to see a bike that's not dumbed down and not changed at all is really cool to see from a company.
There you have it.
Bring on the WOMAD.
No!
The only thing that is hard about it is fitting purposes, like sizing purposes. Right. You know, for smaller riders, it's...
They don't have an extra small for this bike.
Right, there is no extra small, and so for smaller people, it is harder. Like, but today when I rode the medium and we were comparing reaches
Right.
between the bikes, if I would have put a 30 mil stem on it, it would have been perfect. So just like little minor adjustments. Like,
You can still fit a fairly wide range of riders.
yeah.
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 Well, there you have it. Good descender, really good descender, strong climber, stiff, outstanding component spec, not dumbed down. It's hard to go wrong. Check out the full review in Bike Magazine.